Hey, Soul Survivors, we're going to talk about the six different types of narcissism. That's another reason why it's so confusing. Is somebody a narcissist? Because there's six different types, and it can manifest in different ways, leading to identification of various types of narcissism. So the primary types are the grandiose and the vulnerable. Now, we got covert and overt, but there are subtypes and nuanced categories. So let's get into it. Somebody who is a grandiose narcissist, also known as overt, they have that inflated sense of self-image. They believe they're superior to others. They deserve special treatment. They also do a lot of exhibitionism because they seek attention, and they can engage in showy or flamboyant types of behaviors. Dominance and aggression, they can be assertive, dominant, sometimes aggressive. Lack of empathy, they show little regard for the feelings or the needs of others. And also the confidence and assertiveness, they like to display high self-confidence. They can be outgoing. So your covert narcissist, also known as vulnerable, they have a fragile self-esteem. And people can go in between covert and overt. You'll see that often. So it depends on what the stressors are, where they are in their type of time of life. But fragile self-esteem, they have an underlying sense of insecurity, hypersensitive to criticism, introversion. Sometimes they're shy, anxious, socially withdrawn. They have a victim mentality, and they often see themselves as victims, can easily feel slighted or wronged by others. They deal with envy and resentment. They can have this envy that is harbored towards other people who they perceive as more successful or happier. They actually get angry at people because they're doing good in life. Passive aggressiveness. This aggression can be expressed in a more passive or indirect ways. It's kind of like a little dig. Now, the other types of narcissism, you got your malignant narcissist. They have it's a severe form, and it combines aspects of narcissism, antisocial personality disorder, aggression, and even sadism. They can be manipulative, deceitful, and have a pronounced lack of empathy. Communal narcissism. These people seek validation and admiration through acts of altruism, community service. They believe that they are the most helpful, the most giving, and their self-worth is tied to being seen as benevolent. And somatic narcissism, these people focus more on the body and the physical appearance. We have histrionic, which is focusing on the sexuality, but the somatic narcissists, they are preoccupied with their looks as well. Also fitness, physical prowess. And another type is cerebral narcissism, and this focuses on the mind and the intellect. These people believe they are intellectually superior and seek validation through their knowledge and intelligence. They just want to be seen as the smartest person, and sometimes they'll use words to purposely sound smart, but when you're trying to communicate with someone, you should use words that people understand to connect with them. Grandiose versus vulnerable. What are the differences? How does this overlap? The main difference is the outward expression of this self-esteem. Grandiose, they display overt confidence and seek overt admiration, but the vulnerable ones, they have this underlying fragility and seek validation more covertly. So it's more like hidden, more secretive, and they just expect it. Maybe they won't express what their needs are. They'll feel that you should already know. Both types can exhibit a sense of entitlement, a need for admiration, and a genuine lack for empathy of others. Now, contextual behavior, narcissistic traits can vary in expression, and it depends on the context, also the relationship. That's why they act different around different people. They take it out the most on the people that are closest to them. They can exhibit grandiose traits in the professional setting, but vulnerable traits in a personal relationship. They read people and just try to figure out how to get the most amount of supply. So going deeper, let's think of a charismatic CEO, and they're at the helm of a successful tech company. His presence fills the room, his confidence, stride commands attention, and he's eloquent, captivates his audience, and the world is his. and it can be a girl too, female, and they're the life of the party, the star of the show. They genuinely believe that they are destined for greatness, often larger than life self-image. Now, this self-assuredness can be infectious, and it starts drawing people closer towards them. But the underneath of the charisma is a deep need for admiration and validation. As long as things are going good, they feel good. But if you cross them or disagree with them, they'll be held to play. Now, in the workplace, they're often seen as visionary leaders, pushing boundaries, inspiring other people, but it can come at a cost. Their need to be the best can lead to ruthless competition. And they just thrive on that praise. They can become aggressive. They feel their superiority is challenged. Now, for vulnerable, picture a talented artist and they spend hours perfecting their craft, and they can do that in solitude, but they feel deeply unappreciated and misunderstood. This is the realm of the vulnerable narcissist. They're marked by their deep sensitivity, fragility, and it's different than the grandiose counterparts. So the vulnerable, they might avoid the spotlight. They fear rejection. Also, they fear the criticism. They crave this admiration, but they are often kind of scared to go seek it openly. This leads to constant inner turmoil. They may oscillate between feelings of inferiority, and they need to build that up. So they start having a desperate need for validation. In the social setting, they can become across as shy, introverted, but their minds are filled with self-doubt, envy, and they perceive slights where none might exist. And they can harbor judges for perceived injustices. That's why if you don't even do anything wrong, they can hold a grudge against you. And it can be extremely painful because you're trying to do everything right, or you want to explain things, but their reality is how they perceive things. And they are so into everything their way that they don't even want to hear that they're wrong in their perceptions. So their interactions are often marked by passive-aggressive behavior, and they struggle to reconcile their need for affirmation with their fear of rejection. Now, one of the most dangerous ones are the malignant narcissist, and you can see that in some politicians. So think about a politician, and they manipulate their way to power. They leave a trail of broken alliances, betrayed confidences, and this is the dark world of the malignant narcissist. They combine the worst aspects with elements of antisocial personality disorder. And they are not just self-absorbed, they are dangerously manipulative, often sadistic. And they derive this pleasure from dominating others, and their actions are driven by a desire to control them, also to harm them. So be careful. They get a kick out of harming other people. Now, they can appear charming on the surface, but their charm is a mask for this deep malevolence. They can be deceitful, ruthless, lack genuine empathy, and inside their relationships, they're abusive, exploitative, and they can use other people for their own gain and discard them without remorse. And that's one of the most hurtful things about it is they can just discard people at the drop of a hat. You don't do what they want and you're gone. So when people are thinking, how can I make this better? Unless you're going to kowtow to every whim, every desire, a lot of times you end up getting discarded. You will always get discarded in that cycle. And just know it's coming, because the narcissist needs to discard because of this fear of abandonment. So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Also, if you don't give them the admiration, they don't see any worth in another person. And that can be extremely painful. You have your communal narcissist. So think of a philanthropist, and they donate a ton of money to charity, but ensures every donation is accompanied by a press release or a photo opportunity, and they do it for the fame, not to be compassionate. Now, A communal narcissist, they seek validation through these acts of altruism and community service. So on the surface, they appear selfless, but they're always ready to lend a helping hand. But their primary motivation is the recognition and admiration that these acts bring. They won't just do it out of the kindness of their heart. They need something in return. Narcissists love to have transactional relationships, and they thrive on being seen as the most caring and giving individual. They can broadcast their good deeds, and this ensures maximum visibility. While they do contribute positively to their communities, we just have to understand that their acts of kindness are rarely genuinely empathetic. Instead, it's a strategy to bolster their self-image. So be careful if you are with someone that they're not going to, give away the house and the farm just to appease their need for admiration, because they won't care about how it affects you. They just want to be seen as the most generous, kind. But if it's only for self-admiration, it's not being kind towards the other. It's utilizing the situation. Somatic narcissism, you can think about a fitness influencer, and they spend hours sculpting their body, meticulously curating the social media presence just so they can show off their body. And this is somatic narcissism. They are obsessed with their physical appearance. They derive their self-worth from their looks, fitness levels, sexual conquest. Their bodies are their temples, and they go to great lengths to maintain and flaunt these physical attributes. Inside a relationship, they're often superficial, valuing partners who enhance their own image. They can be promiscuous. They feel that they are a god or a goddess, seeking sexual conquest as trophies to validate their attractiveness. They need to sleep with somebody so they have a self-worth. Don't do that. Too many diseases out there, and if you are doing that, it's something lacking within you. It's not healthy to have all these sexual conquests, and it also deepens the availability of a true deep relationship. Cerebral narcissism, think about a professor. They constantly remind everyone of their prestigious academic achievements and their intellectual superiority. This is a cerebral narcissist. They have that sense of worth from their intellect and knowledge. They see themselves as intellectually superior. They seek admiration for their mental prowess. Their conversations will often revolve around showcasing their expertise and belittling others' ideas. You can't have a true connection or a true conversation with them. It will always go back, not always, but often go back to just talking about themselves. Now, they can be brilliant, innovative, but they're condescending, and also they alienate their colleagues. They're quick to dismiss other people's viewpoints. They have an intolerance for ignorance. You'll feel like you can't even ask them a question. So if you have a genuine interest, you're going to be dismissed. So it's important to understand narcissism to help us navigate these interactions that we might have. We can't always run from a narcissist. If you go to the emergency room and there's somebody in the waiting room, you can't always isolate yourself. You might have to just kind of keep your boundaries and keep your distance. So as a recap, there are 6 types: grandiose, vulnerable, malignant, communal, somatic, and cerebral. And I'm going to do another video to talk about the differences between sociopathy and psychopathy to help you understand what we are dealing with. Narcissism is on the rise, and if you've gone through CPTSD, I want to help you guys not to pick up on those traits where you don't seek revenge, you seek self-healing instead. Lots of love to you guys. Please like, share, and subscribe, and one-on-ones are available. See you in the next video.